Eric Alterman, What Liberal Media, The Truth About Bias and the News. Embark on a journey exploring the intricate dynamics of the U.S. media landscape with Eric Alterman's eye-opening book, What Liberal Media, The Truth About Bias and the News. Delve into the allegations of liberal bias in the media and discover the complex layers that define liberalism. Refuting the idea of a coordinated liberal media propaganda, this book examines the role of conservative political commentators, think tanks, book publishers, and columnists in shaping public policy debate and challenging notions of objectivity. Unearth the driving forces behind prominent conservative media personalities and their impact on the American media narrative.
The myth of liberal media. Many people accuse the U.S. media of having a liberal bias, but this claim is difficult to prove since everyone has their own definition of liberal. There is no coordinated effort to rewrite news stories, but some journalists have been accused of suspending critical thinking in the face of conservative accusations. Changes in journalistic practices have enabled these accusations, leading some media professionals to admit to a liberal leaning. Conservative media personalities, think tanks, and publishers play a significant role in perpetuating this myth. The power of conservative pundits in American media. This book summary explores how conservative pundits dominate American media and shape public opinion. Pundits, who lack journalistic qualifications, are selected based on their TV appeal and ability to sound authoritative. They often promote conservative agendas, while avoiding objective discussions of the issues. The few liberal pundits who present balanced arguments are weakened by their traditional journalistic responsibility. The media frenzy over the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal further exposed the media's deep polarization. While conservative pundits pushed for Clinton's resignation despite his public approval, the public forgave Clinton. This book summary highlights the media's disconnect from the electorate and the role of money in determining news content. Rise of conservative think tanks. In the mid-1970s, conservative policy makers established think tanks as safe havens for conservative thought amidst the overwhelming reforms resulting from Vietnam, Watergate, and the social revolution. With funding from billionaires like the Hunt brothers, Richard Mellon Scaife, Joseph Coors, and the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, think tanks such as the American Enterprise Institute, the Cato Institute and Heritage Foundation started to reshape political analysis and inject conservative policies at the grassroots level. Today, over 300 similar conservative groups have opened in Washington, D.C. region alone, which is a testament to their fundraising success. The Heritage Foundation holds the most power among these foundations using its large budget for political activism. It develops conservative government members and media and builds consensus on legislation benefiting conservative causes. The foundation communicates with a wider audience through self-run TV and radio studios, an editorial service, and provides talking points to conservative speakers. In a country where most high school students lack basic knowledge of U.S. history, reasoned and intelligent contextual views of events are crucial, and hence think tanks play an important role. Conservative publishing. The Lynd and Harry Bradley Foundation spent $3.5 million in the late 1990s to fund a conservative publishing house, which produced over 400 books attacking social practices such as affirmative action, tort reform, and civil justice. Henry Regnery, one of the publishers, put out 7 sensational titles about Clinton and his former business associates. Charles Murray's Losing Ground, funded by Olin Foundation, received praise from the so-called liberal media despite the book's poor data, unsubstantiated claims, and illogical conclusions. This led to the foundation giving Murray a $100,000 grant to write The Bell Curve, which claimed that the average IQ of blacks was 15% lower than that of whites and being on welfare was a sign of lower intelligence. Dinesh D'Souza's The End of Racism also backed these claims using the Bell Curve's data. These conservative-sponsored books gave racism a higher level of acceptance in some circles. Conservative media personalities and their impact. A group of conservative advocates, including Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and Bill O'Reilly, gain more airtime and large paychecks compared to any group of liberals. The media personalities present their views on various TV networks, including MSNBC and Fox News. Driving successful talk shows requires presenting issues in simple black and white terms, which leaves no room for moderate arguments. This simplification of complex issues appeals to viewers who enjoy controversy. Media bias against Al Gore in the 2000 U.S. presidential election. The U.S. media during the 2000 presidential election showed clear media bias against Al Gore. Despite his winning the popular vote, Gore was deemed unpopular in the media, especially NBC, ABC, The Wall Street Journal, and The Washington Post. The media connived with James Baker, a friend of the Bush family, in disqualifying about 200,000 votes to provoke an NAACP voter discrimination lawsuit in the state and bar manual recounts. Baker falsely faulted Gore for filing legal challenges, while Republicans filed a lawsuit first. The media sided with Baker's message. When Gore refused to concede, many major news outlets referred to Bush as the president-elect, and most media neglected to point out that Gore's popular vote margin was larger than that which elected Richard Nixon or John Kennedy. This media bias prevents the media from serving its role in questioning national policies and processes.
Eric Alterman's thought-provoking book breaks down the myth of a liberally biased media, shedding light on the extensive influence of conservative pundits, think tanks, book publishers, and columnists throughout the U.S. media landscape. The book offers insight into the tactics employed by these conservative voices, the millions of dollars at stake, and the consequences their dominance has had on the formation of public opinion and policy. As a result, What Liberal Media, The Truth About Bias and the News, invites readers to reassess assumptions about media bias, reminding us that complexities exist beyond simple classifications of a liberal or conservative.